Welcome to Primal Girl Wellness and Down to Earth Astrology. This is Miss Jenny, and I am your astrologer. So, today we're going to work on a puzzle. And a couple caveats before we get started. First things first is this is a horary chart, asking a question about something that has no personal significance or importance to me, which means that the chart is a very limited value. It's entirely possible that the chart may not be correct. And the second is these are experimental charts. So we don't know what, we just don't know what the rules are. We're figuring out as we go along. At the time today, March 13th at 6 p.m., Elijah Vu, the child that's been missing for, I think, 3 weeks now, still hasn't been found. And they've apparently completed their searches of the local landfills, which I'm still not completely convinced he's not in. They do have a car for connected to Elijah, but the owners of the vehicle are not considered suspects, but they won't say why they think the car is connected, and they're asking for surveillance video for anybody who might have captured the car and the occupants in it in motion during the time just before Elijah disappeared. And that's all the information we have about that. And of course, at the same time right now, we have Princess Kate, who's been conspicuous in her absence as well. So it's a very Piscean month. So this particular chart we're working on right now is for Philadelphia. There was a mass shooting. 4 men came upon a subway station and shot 8 teenagers. So they don't have they don't have a lot of information right now. So they're treating it as a random shooting, but we all know, given that it's Philadelphia and these were teenagers shot, yada, 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 this is probably gang and drug related. So, there's that. Anyway, so they've got 3 of the shooters. The 4th one is still at large. And at this time, as of yesterday, the police were saying that they haven't done it yet, but they're threatening to release the image of the 4th shooter along with a cash reward to anyone who provides information or leads to the arrest and capture of this person, which means this guy could get shot himself, could get killed before he goes to justice. So the police are trying to avoid that. They'd like to take him through the legal system with the other 3. But as of today, they haven't done that yet. He still has time to turn himself in. So the question, of course, becomes, where is this character? So I'm thinking maybe a horary. And again, this is not anything connected to me personally, so there's limited value in this chart. But it's a good puzzle to work on. Where is this guy, right? So for those of you playing along, you can set this chart up for where you're at right now as the time comes up and you're hearing this question, doing horary for that, or you can use the information that I have for where I was at when I asked this question, which would be today, March 13th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. in Wilmington, Delaware. I will have the charts up in the community tab so you can take a look at them. I don't think I'm going to make a whole PowerPoint out of this, but I will certainly keep record of it. And this video, just, is records from me. Okay. So we've done a couple of these missing persons charts. And we haven't been wrong, but we haven't been right either. They haven't found these people. So which is unfortunate. Sort of disappeared in the ethers. Okay, so let's get back to the chart. So I am the querent. I'm the first house. We're asking about the other person, another person, which would be the 7th. The 7th house is ruled by Pisces. We have Venus on the descendant. I've got a loaded 7th house in this chart. And Jupiter, Neptune, depending on whether you use modern rulerships or not, will describe the missing shooter that we're asking about. So the first thing is with Venus on the angle and Sun, Neptune. Remember, Neptune rules the 7th house of the other person, or the person we're inquiring about. With the Sun, Neptune, and Venus, Venus on the angle of the 7th and Sun, Neptune in the 7th. As far as a physical description goes, we'll be able to verify this shortly as soon as the police put up an image. I would expect this person to be attractive, okay, depending what your attractiveness stands are, but certainly aesthetically aligned, right? So no missing, malformities or anything like that, but fairly well put together as far as bone structure and complexion. And also with a Sun Neptune conjunction of Pisces like this, I would look for 2 things. One, I would look for possibly a darker skinned person. So whatever your race or complexion is, I would look for the darkest expression of that, right? So for him, since I'm guessing he's African American, he would be a very dark African American. If you are white, you would be the darkest expression of white, which would be Mediterranean, or I don't know what the hell else, right? Mediterranean, the olive, what is it? The eggshell white, as opposed to Scandinavian or Irish. Okay, so there's that. And also, too, what I would look for are tattoos, because the Sun Neptune conjunction in Pisces, Sun, Neptune, and Pisces, separately and together, all typically indicate flourish or art, right? Fantasy stuff. So I would look for some type of markings or tattooing there. Now, Saturn is carried in the 7th in here, and Saturn is in the terms of Jupiter in the 7th, which would be his first house. So I would expect someone who's very lean. And also Saturn in terms of Jupiter. Hang on, I'm thinking out loud. I'm literally doing this as we're speaking, right? With Saturn in terms of Jupiter, and that would be his first house. So horsey faced, long, lean, right? Horse faced kind of thing. And also possibly a gait issue or a limp, something with his walk or the hip, because the Jupiter rules the hip and Saturn rules, issues and challenges like limitations, restrictions. So he may have a bad hip or some kind of funny walk, like a limp or something, or his gait is slightly off. So we'll see. Okay, so the next question, or the next part of this that we might be able to answer is, where is he? So the moon typically tells us where someone is. And also, if we use ancient rulerships, Jupiter would be his ruler, not Neptune. And with Jupiter as his ancient ruler, Jupiter is in Taurus. It's sandwiched between the moon and Jupiter in the 9th house. And this tells me, because Jupiter's in the sign of Taurus, this tells me he's in an easterly direction. Now, if you're in Philadelphia, facing east or heading east puts you facing or heading towards New Jersey, which would make sense, right? I can't imagine him going into, because once you start heading west of Philadelphia, you're heading farmland and like racist white people. This is not where a dark-skinned, tattooed, gangster-associated black man is going to want to go. Dear God. So east makes more sense because that's going to put him in New Jersey, right? And New Jersey, the whole East Coast, 95 north and south, and also through New Jersey, can potentially take you up to New York or down south to Florida. And the thing about it is you're going to want to blend in. Wherever you go, you're going to want to blend in. So you're not heading to places where you're going to stick out like a sore thumb, right? Hence, he's not going to West Pennsylvania. Okay, so Jupiter is in Taurus. It's the easterly direction. It is sandwiched between the moon and the Uranus. So to me, this suggests that he is being flanked, literally on both sides. There's people sandwiching him in that are giving him cover, right? So he's under the protection or auspices of somebody else. Somebody else is literally looking out for him, maybe two people. And also, too, the emphasis on the moon and Venus, right? Because remember, Venus is angular, right, on his house in this chart. That, again, suggests a woman. So there's a woman protecting him, which would make sense. I don't see a whole lot of men. Listen, unless he's got a gun in your head, I don't see a whole lot of men jumping up for the opportunity to get themselves shot by the police. Or going to jail as a co-conspirator or whatever they would call that, aiding and abetting fugitives. But women, assuming that he's heterosexual, women tend to be more easily led by their hearts, and so she may, in her own misguided way, feel like this is the thing that she needs to do. And also, too, it's easier for her to claim that, she had no choice, and she was intimidated, scared it's going to hurt her, blah, 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 later, if it pans out badly. And I'm only saying that because if it were a man saying the same thing, I was scared of him, he made me hide him, but like nobody's going to believe him as quickly as we're going to believe that a woman was intimidated. So in this particular instance, if it's a girlfriend or a woman that's participating in hiding him, because she wants to, not because she has to, she at least has that as an out. I know, I'm so cynical, sorry. And also, too, Venus is in Pisces, right? And, Venus and Pisces just means well. They really mean well. So she may be misguided by her own sense of loyalty and duty to this guy. Okay, anyway. So, With that said, the moon in Uranus flank Jupiter. The moon is a planet of motion and movement, right? So he's moving. He's literally physically moving. So he's not stationary. They may be inside. Oh, I was going to say they may be inside a domicile, but I don't think this is a house, right? So the moon and Jupiter are both in terms of Mercury. Mercury rules motels, right? It also rules row homes, townhouses, urban areas where things are literally sandwiched like dominoes right on top of each other. But Mercury is a much more utilitarian kind of planet, so it's an as you need it sort of situation, which would be a room for rent. So my guess is that they're actually holed up in a motel or a hotel room, maybe a motel, maybe not so much a hotel, right? And if that's the case, it's absolutely possible because if he were with a woman or another man or both, they would be the ones the motel or the hotel is registered under, obviously not him. And he would just need to sneak in when nobody's looking. So we're looking for Fleabag hotel motels that offer pedestrian access, like access from the outside where you don't have to go through a lobby, in an easterly direction, and Admetos, which is in terms of Mercury, and Admetos in terms of Mercury is on that midhaven, which to me looks like bridges, which again now makes sense because I just now realized New Jersey's east. Which makes sense because in order to go from Philadelphia, New Jersey, you'd have to cross a bridge. So wherever this no-tell motel that they're like hiding out in is going to be in or near within a few miles, if it's even that far, from one of the local bridges. And in this particular case, I'm going to guess it's actually south. They're heading in a southerly direction, not a northern one. So we're east by south. But I always get the cardinal directions off a little bit, so it could be east by north as well. But I'm guessing this is south. Only because Admetos rules heat and fire, and Jupiter is a fiery planet, and southern things are hot things, right? The equator and all that sort of stuff, southern hemisphere. So east by south of where he was expected to be. So he was expected to be at his home, and he was not. So wherever his home address is or his last known residence, due east by south in the direction of bridges, because they're near a bridge and some no-tell motel Fleabag thing, whatever, because the room is registered in other people's names. So he's getting in and nobody's seeing it. And they could easily hide out there for a long time, especially if it's two of them along with him that are in and out of the room, right? Because nobody would look twice at a man and a woman in a hotel, for a couple of days at a time. And if he's there with a man and a woman, right? Nobody's going to pay any attention there. It's because a woman checked in by herself looks a little odd. A man checked in by himself looks a little odd, especially if they don't look really desperate or they don't look like they're supposed to be there, right? But the two of them together, it would just look like a couple of people, whatever, like got kicked out of their house, sort of stuff, right? So there's that. Is there anything else we can get from this chart? Oh, right. That was the other thing. Cousins, right? This also looked like it might actually be cousins or like cousin-in-laws, people who are like cousins. So there's some relationship stuff here above and beyond friendships or like gang association or something like that. Like there may actually be a blood connection here or an in-law connection where these things are concerned. Where is this chart? Hang on, I'm pulling the chart up right now. So, and I apologize, I don't have more information on top of this. I'm literally eyeballing this chart as I'm talking to you. Where is it? It's here. Because I made some notes. Here we go. All right. Yeah, they're hiding him. Oh, that's what it was. Pluto in the vertex on that 6th house. So, Pluto in the vertex. Yeah, so the third person that's in, because I think it's a trio. I don't think it's just him and her or him and him. I think it's him, her, and him. I think it's a trio. The third person in this trio, this looks like aunts, uncles, cousins, right? This is somebody who's related, that has a relationship, a family relationship to him of some kind. Well, or maybe her, but I think this is a family relationship to him. With Pluto conjunct the vertex on that sixth house cusp, there's an aunt or an uncle that might actually know where he is. I would lean hard on that aunt and uncle. And the other thing too is he's with that Sun Neptune conjunction describing him. They're also in the terms of Mars and Saturn. He is mean. He's mean. This is a cruel son of a bitch. And he may be mentally ill. So he may very well be mentally ill. But that's not actually unexpected, right? That's not unexpected given the circumstances we're dealing with. Because I'm just saying. Okay, so let's see. Miles. Can we get miles from this? So Taurus is a fixed sign. Taurus moves slow, and Taurus does not cover long distances, although they are a pretty good distance from where they originally started. So I would expect them to be still local to the area. They haven't gotten that far. So they're still in the state, still in the county, probably even still in the city. All right. So they haven't gotten that far. They haven't crossed state lines, but they're close. They're really close. They're really close to that bridge. Really close to that bridge. It's like they're behind the bridge, right? So if you had a map with the bridges, and you could figure out where all the little local no-tell motels are near the bridges, and I'm sure there's plenty, right? It would be like behind the bridge. I like that makes any sense, I know. Now also too, with Jupiter, Uranus there, see, does this make any aspects? Trines Juno. Ooh, it's a grand trine. Grand trine. Holy crap. Okay. So Moon, Jupiter, Uranus, the trio, or the duo, him, the escapee, and the people hiding him, persons, people. This sets up a grand trine to Juno as well as Cupido and Ceres. So I would look for places near no-tell, motel, utilitarian room for rent sort of situations near farmers markets. Anywhere fresh produce is sold, food, grocery stores. So there's food nearby, not just restaurants, like actual, like little food stands, produce stands, things of that nature, farmers markets. And also, too, it looks like there may be, because it's Cupido and Ceres, food bank. There might be ooh, that's an interesting thought. There might be a food bank very close to where they're at. So that may be the tell, right? Looking for where there's food banks near these no-tell motel things near a bridge. And or also chapels where people get married, or things that are associated with honeymoons and love hotels, things of that nature. So those are the two signatures I would look for as far as landmarks. I would look for no-tell motels near bridges heading east, which would be any bridge that leads into New Jersey. That would make sense. They're not in New Jersey yet, but they're getting there. And also wherever they're physically located, because it's a utilitarian rent as you need it kind of situation. So motels, right? I would look for produce stands or grocery stores very, very close by, probably even within walking distance, right? Literally like right there kind of thing. As well as places that are associated with weddings, marriages, getting married, getting hitched, little, honeymoon hotels. I think there may have been like a love hotel or honeymoon hotel in Philadelphia somewhere. But if that's the case, it would be very near this. These are separate entities. Maybe. And also too, food banks. There should be, I'm thinking there's a food bank very, very, very close by, which would also make sense too. So he should get caught, obviously. I mean, if they're putting out a bolo, be on the lookout with his image and a cash reward, he's going to get caught. Because their only hope is that they might be able to make it in New Jersey before then, but even then, like, good luck with that, right? So we'll see. This is what I have for where the fourth shooter is. So let's wait and see how much of this is accurate. Again, these are experimental charts. I will send this off to Philadelphia Police Department, see if it helps. Not that they listen to any of us. But we will certainly follow this. And again, the images of the charts will be on the community tab, so you can take a look for yourself. And let's see what happens. Okay, bye.